All right, so today we're going to work on repacking our Barker's exhaust. We've already taken the tip off, the spark arrestor out. The next thing we need to do is remove the megaphone, and then we will move on to the end cap where the exhaust tip mounts. You have to drill these rivets out to pull the end cap out, and we prefer to also take the tag off because those rivets that stick through will snag on the packing as you slide it back in. Makes it much easier. But you need a 7/32 drill bit, a carbide tip drill bit for these stainless rivets, and then a 1/8 carbide tip drill bit to take those rivets out. All right, so the next part here, you saw that we got this off the can. It's actually this end. There's a little bit of silicone there, so it's going to take a little bit of pressure to kind of push against it to get that silicone to let go. And then the next step you have is this piece needs to come off the megaphone, so you can clean all this up really good. I guess if you wanted to leave it on there, you could, but we prefer to take it off, clean it all up. You gotta be real slow with that. Kind of get underneath it and take your time prying it off. So you don't bend it. And then you can take time to get all this silicone off it. We always like to clean all this up before putting it back together. And now we also got the rivets drilled out here. The tag is off. So it's time to pull this end cap out, which is fun. And we have a slide hammer that grabs it on the inside. You'll tighten that up and you'll pop it. It should pop right out of there. But being an oval can, they're a little more difficult than a round can. There's a lot of pressure on it. And now that we do have the cap off, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull all this old packing out, clean it up. We're going to take time to clean all this up where the silicone was at. Clean up this end piece. Clean this up for reassembly and clean all the parts. So we'll spend a little time doing that and we'll stuff the new packing in. We also always like to check the screen on the inside, make sure that's all looking good. We've never had to replace these, but you can get replacements for them. And as you can see, the reason the oval is difficult, you got the oval here, you pulled your end cap out, it likes to go back to being round. That's always fun trying to get the end cap on. We've made a jig for that. And there is also a difference. We also have a round can, and we're doing an oval can now, but we have a round can also. There is a difference in the packing sizes too. You have to make note when you get your packing replacements to mark down which one you have, oval or round. When I'm always putting this on there, I don't like to center it on the pillow. I like to leave more pillow on the side that's going to be in the front of the can, so you kind of offset it there, so you have more up here. That way you pack it more in the front of the can where you're going to have most of the blowout. All right, we told you we had a jig for this. It looks kind of silly, we know, but there's really no good way to put this oval can back together. So we ended up taking 2x4s. We cut a little oval that fit this can here, so we can kind of squeeze it together and make that fit back together easily. Otherwise, you're going to fight with it and fight with it. And that's where a round can is so much easier. So if you're trying to decide oval or round, you don't want to have a big fight when you're repacking. These round ones go really easy. You'll do the same method, take it all apart, take the packing out, slips right in, goes back together. You don't have to mess with this. One other note we wanted to make, I guess you don't have to do silicone. When we tore it apart, they had silicone on it. So we always put, when we put the pieces back together, you put a light coat around there to seal that up really good. And then as you put the pieces together on the megaphone, we put some silicone on, set that in, a little more silicone, and put the megaphone on it. And we just use a Dow seal, RTV sealant 732. That's pretty good stuff to use. Well, now we got our end cap in, went in pretty smooth. These rivets will come with the Repack kit. They're a 3/16 stainless steel rivet, and we'll just stick them all in there and pop them in. And then the tag, when we put that back in, that's a 1/8 rivet. And you might have to get those yourself. They're a stainless steel if you take the tag out. You don't have to take the tag out. And this is the type of rivet gun you want to use. You can't use a standard smaller one. You got to use a pretty heavy duty rivet gun to do that 3/16 stainless rivet. And one of the advantages to having the non-powder coated can is you can take a Scotch-Brite, you can clean it all up if you want. So then you have it, you clean the megaphone, clean the aluminum can, make it look like new. All right, well, that's it for repacking the barkers. Hopefully I helped somebody out and trying to figure out the best way to do it. And these oval ones can be a real bear to try to repack and put back together. But if you make yourself a little jig or take a couple clamps, you can probably get it to work out one way or the other. Thanks for watching, and catch you later.